Now, when I say that feeling my feelings saved my life, I don't mean that in a metaphorical way. Like, I really believe to the core that it saved my physical life. 10 years ago, I was laying on my couch every day, stuck, unable to move in the darkness. I would wake up early, really early, and I would go coach these fitness classes. I get that done, and then I would grab some food on the way home. I'd come home and I'd inhale it. And I would lay on the couch, turn on Netflix, and just go into this deep, dark, basically like coma. I was in a freeze state, but I didn't know that. I had no language for what was happening. I mean, it was the only thing to do for me. It was the only thing I knew how to do. And I would lay there all day. And I knew I should be doing something, but I couldn't. And then in the evenings, I would get up and I would go coach more classes and I would try to get myself to work out and to climb. In this stage of my life, I was really stuck in addictions. I was drinking a lot. I had these food addictions, shoving food down, trying to feel something. And I was addicted to porn. And all of these addictions were my way of coping with life, feeling the heaviness of life. And the funny thing is that I actually just went on my Facebook, which I don't ever go on there. And I looked at that time period because I was like, oh, has it really been 10 years since that time of my life? And so I was just looking, and it's been about 10 years. But what I found on the Facebook was all this support. I found like so many people were posting on my page saying thank you, talking about how fun it was to be in my life and all this stuff. And I know that some of that is maybe like a little fake when you get on the social media stuff, but I was thinking as I was going through that I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that support. For me, it was just this deep, dark hole. And I didn't tell anyone that this was my experience. No one knew. No one knew I was going through this. And I think that's how it is. Especially today, we're so separated, right? I didn't tell anyone. No one was seeing this in me. It was just this really like stillness of darkness that I was seeping deeper and deeper into. And I came to this place where I realized how horrible this was. Actually, to be completely honest, I had something inside of me that knew that this was going to kill me. That what I was experiencing was going to end my life. And that sounds dramatic. And what I mean by that is that it wasn't going to kill me now. But if I kept going down that road, eventually, sometime down the line, it was going to kill me. And that really scared me. And I knew something needed to change. So I felt myself at a crossroads. And this crossroads was keep doing what I'm doing and go on the slow path of dying, or do something different. And what that different was, I didn't know. I didn't know what there was to do. But I knew that I needed to do something different. And so I remember, I don't know if it was like this one decision or a multitude of decisions over time, but I remember choosing to do something different. Basically like choosing life. And it scared me. It's really scary. And I remember I didn't ask for help. But what I did was I told people what I was experiencing. I just said, hey, this is something that's going on for me right now in my life. And there were people who offered help in the ways that they could to raise my spirits. And that was one of the coolest things. And I didn't know that people would do that. I didn't know that that would be something, that people would offer help. And I really don't share this to be like, oh, look at me. Look at my story. Look at my path. I share this because along those 10 years, there's a lot that's been learned. And there's a lot that I would just like to share with the world, with you. Thank you for watching this video. That can be really helpful. And the title of this video, I felt my feelings and it healed me, is not dramatic at all. And I'm going to show you how it's not dramatic and how it is real. And if you're in a stuck place, or if you have friends in a stuck place, it can save your life. It can lead you out of that deadening into something that makes you feel more alive. And that's why we're here. And that is the goal, is to feel more alive. Every single day, how do we feel more alive? Because most of us have been numbed and depressed in some way. Maybe depression isn't the thing for us, but maybe addiction is in some way. We're doing stuff that we don't want to do. We're acting in ways that we don't want to act. We have an image or a picture of ourselves of where we can be, and we're not even close. And so that's my hopes in this video, and I'm going to share an idea with you that's going to help illuminate what's going on here. So imagine that an alligator comes into your house, gets in your house. I don't know, maybe you're in Florida or something. You guys know about this. I don't know about this. But let's say, I don't know, it gets in your house. And you don't know what to do. You could call like a gator trapper or something, but you don't. And what you do is you trap it yourself somehow. You set up a perimeter, a 10 by 10 perimeter around this gator. And it's fortified. It's not going to get out. Now, the logical next step is that you call someone or whatever. You find a way to get it out. You got it trapped. You find a way to get it out. But you don't. What you do instead is you leave it there. And it's in this 10 by 10 perimeter in your living room. And now you can't go to that part of your living room. And that means that throughout your day, you're avoiding it. Now, it's not only that you can't go there, but you can't even get close, because as you approach this gator, it snaps at you, and that snap scares you. And so you actually live this life where you get further and further away from it because you're like, I really don't want to mess with that. And not only that, but then in your dreams at night, you're dreaming about the gator, and you're dreaming about your fear of this part of the living room. And when you're out and about, you're actually having a nice day, but you're out and about and you think about, I have to go home, and there's that gator there. And so slowly this gator starts to run your life. And this is a funny example because it's a little too physical and real. It's like, just get it out. Yeah, right? Just get it out. Okay. So this is what we all do. Is we have places inside of us that we don't go. So the gator in the house, we have the gator inside of us, inside of our consciousness, inside of our thoughts, inside of our body. Places that we're not allowed to experience. Because if we go close to that spot, it's scary. Because something in the past happened that brought this fear into us. Now, this is what people refer to as trauma. But trauma comes with a lot around it. So I like to just say fear. And this fear, it lives in your system. And what it makes us do is it makes us avoid. So instead of going in, taking the gator and getting it out, we just avoid it. And in this avoidance, we numb, we push away, we basically do whatever we can to feel like that gator is not there. But you want to know what this does? Is it shuts parts of ourselves down. Parts that we really, really need to feel alive and to feel whole. And anytime that we numb, we're closing down a part of our true self, our authenticity. And this authenticity is a basic human need. Self-expression is a basic human need. If we don't have it and we shut down, we're literally taking what it means to be alive and we're saying, nah, I don't want to be alive over there. I don't want to be alive over there too. I don't want to be alive in that way. Instead, I'm going to deaden. And for me, in my story, I didn't know this is what I was doing. If I knew, I would have got the gator out. But it steadily, life closed down on me more and more and more. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. More and more closing. Okay. Until I was all the way to this little tiny box of what I can do, of what I can experience, of what's okay for me. And that meant that it's better for me to lay down on this couch and do absolutely nothing because I don't know how to deal with all of this. Most of it is not okay for me. And when most of that is not okay for me or for you, it feels really heavy and it closes down on all of us. This density is like, ooh, it's pushing down on you. What we're talking about here, basically, is repression. And I was a very repressed person. I learned that. I was taught that. It just was a part of my life. I don't think you really choose to be repressed. You also don't know you're repressed. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be. If you knew you were shutting life down, you would stop doing that. If you knew how good life could be, you would stop doing that. But this repression is just something that we have deeply ingrained in us. So for me, I went on this wild journey, but like slowly opening more and more and more, slowly realizing more and more and more that I was repressed and that my life was run by fear. And this fear didn't allow me to experience what life had to offer. I went through this process of realizing I was afraid of things. An example for me was, these are just funny examples maybe, but I was afraid to dance. I was, it's hard to express it. I was afraid to like be myself. Okay. I was afraid to like say what I wanted to say, to act in a way I wanted to act. So I just started to observe the ways that fear was like pushing me in a certain direction. And if you pay attention, it's literally pushing you. And I would just breathe and stand in that instead. If it was good for me, I would do that thing. So it's like pushing me away. Don't do that. And I would go, I feel you pushing me. I'm actually going to push back. I'm actually going to lean into this. So I went through this process of leaning in, noticing, I don't like this. This is not okay for me. This is scary for me. That's not cool. That's not good. Well, why is that cool? Why not cool? Why is that not good? Why is this something that's not okay? That person does it. That person likes it. So I went through this process of opening. And at first it was very like physical. It was, dancing. This is a very physical thing, right? Oh, well, I'm going to dance instead of not dancing. But then it became more internal. And that internalness was realizing that, this is happening inside of me. That repression is a literal push. Oh, I'm feeling something. No, I'm not. Push. Okay. I'm making that physical too, but it's something like we're using tension to push. We've all felt that moment where, I'm going to cry, but I'm out in public and I don't want to cry. So I'm going to push. We know that feeling. We all know that feeling. So it started to get more internal. And I had teachers along the way. I had amazing people showing me the way. And I just steadily began to feel that push inside and do the same thing. I'm pushing something away. What if I felt it instead? Now we're getting into what's real, feeling feelings. We have sensations and feelings all the time, every day. Are we choosing to experience them? Are you choosing to experience the feelings that you have? If not, and it goes down to every little feeling that's possible, you're repressing. You're not okay with it, so you're pushing. And this is what I was doing all the time. Laying on the couch, numbing, pushing. So in my example and my story, you can see how I had gators all around me. And because I had gators all around me, the only thing I could do was lay there. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot more to the equation of, say, depression. So I'm not trying to describe like this is what depression is. But this layer of things is really important to understand. And here's the thing, is that it's all actually quite simple. If you can notice that you're choosing not to feel often, you don't have to do anything yet. You can just notice in your life, when are you choosing not feeling over feeling? Now, this is an extreme, but I like to say death over life. Because anytime you're choosing not to feel, you're choosing death. That might sound extreme, but in a sense, it's kind of true. You're shutting a part of yourself down. Now, I don't want to get too deep, but repression and this pushing and this tension that we create inside of us, we're storing all of this stuff. We're storing all of this stuff in our body. And we're storing it in crazy places like our organs. Okay. What does that happen? What happens is this is all physical. So you repress and you repress and you repress. And one day you end up sick, or you end up with physical pain. Okay. Why do I have this physical pain? This doesn't make any sense. I never got injured. Well, because you've been storing all of this deep tension inside of you. Deep, deep stuff. And it's just more and more and more. And it's closing all of this physical stuff down. It's sickening, everything inside. Now, the simplicity that I was speaking of before is choose feeling over death. Develop a practice in your life of noticing when you're shutting down. Instead of shutting down, feel it. Now, do it at a pace that works for you. Do it in a way that works for you. Do it when it works for you. You don't have to do it all the time when you're like out with friends and stuff. Eventually you will. Do it when you're at home and you got nothing to do and you feel yourself closing down. Choose life as much as possible for you. Maybe a little bit to start, and maybe over time, a little bit more. This process is going to do is it's going to steadily start to open these things up that you've been pushing down and away. And when they open up, it might feel big. It might feel heavy. But here's the thing. It almost feels a little backwards. Is that you feeling it, feeling that pain that's there, this is pain, right? Is better than not feeling it. Because when you feel it, what are you going to do? You might cry. You might get angry. But what's happening when this occurs, if you're opening, is that a flow is happening. A flow that wasn't happening before. Water is always better when it runs. Okay, better in the sense of like healthy for us. Something inside of you is starting to run. That's good. You're waking up. You're becoming alive, right? Before, it was just this dead pool. Okay, so when we feel, yes, it can feel intense. Yes, it can feel like a lot. Sometimes it's going to feel amazing. There's going to be times where you're closing something down and you go, actually, I'm not going to close. And you open and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that I could feel this. I didn't know this was possible. So again, flow, whether it flows and it feels intense, scary, bad, or it flows and it feels amazing, it doesn't matter. The point is that it's flowing now. And because it's flowing now, you're healthier. When you start getting into this realm, you start to realize that this repression, like I was saying earlier, is killing us. Now, it might not hit you till you're 60 or 70. Okay, it hit you in a way where you're like, oh crap, I'm actually dying. But you're feeling it your whole life. Like me on the couch, that could have been my whole life. Okay, you're dying a slow death. So I don't say this to scare you. I hope it doesn't scare you. In a sense, I hope it does scare you. Because if you're watching this and you're like me on the couch, maybe you need to be scared to do something, to make that decision to go this way instead of this way. Okay, but I really don't mean it to scare you. I just mean it to be like, this is what's real. This is what you're not going to learn in school, in health. It's becoming more understood now, but many medical professionals don't know about this. Which is just so insane because like right now I'm basically learning Chinese medicine, like one branch of it. This is what Chinese medicine is all about. This flow that we're talking about. So people have known about this for a really long time. Many indigenous cultures know about this. But, you're not going to learn it in your Western life. So this is your invitation to do something different, to choose life over death. And I pray that you take this and you do what you will with it. There's no right or wrong. I don't really care if you follow what I say or not. The last thing I'll say is that if you want some help, I've created a community. You can see the link in the description box below for my beginning somatics program. In that program, I teach you how to feel again. You go through a few weeks, 4 to 8 weeks of a process of learning how to feel again. Within that, there's a community, and I would love for you to join. And in that community, we can talk. We can talk about this stuff. I'll respond to every post, every comment, and one of my missions in this life is to create a space for this. So this is just my way of expressing myself, and if you feel like joining, I would love to have you. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in another one.